Hey guys, we're here with Pete Mongeau. Really excited to be talking to him today. Pete is an avid CrossFit athlete. He's actually one of the best in the world. Real humble guy, but if you look at his stats and the leaderboards, it will show that he's one of the best masters athlete in the world. So I'm really excited to talk to you today, Pete. Thank you for being here today, man.
All right, thanks for having me, Gallagher. I appreciate it.
Awesome, man. So yeah, let's jump right in. So Pete, how long have you been in the CrossFit world?
Yeah, so I've been officially doing CrossFit for about 4 years. Prior to that, I was kind of dabbling in it a little bit with some other sports that I was playing when I was growing up, and then in the MMA world as well. But officially competing in CrossFit about 4.5 years.
Awesome. So you were in the MMA world then too.
Correct. Yeah, I fought Muay Thai for about 8 years, and then previous to that, I played collegiate hockey.
Nice. So I'm sure all of that stuff kind of gives you an advantage, as far as the competition's concerned in the CrossFit world.
It helped.
Nice, man. Cool. So how was it getting through the Open?
So the Open was a little bit tough this year. I did well, thankfully, but unfortunately, I had separated my shoulder about 3 weeks before the Open started. So I've been dealing with that separated shoulder the entire time. So it's been tough, but thankfully the workouts were in my favor, and I was able to kind of work around that. I've got a great team that I work with here in Atlanta that keeps me in one piece most of the time. So that was real helpful. So it was good. I'm excited it's
Yeah.
over.
Well, kudos to you, man. I mean, you performed extremely well during the Open. So to hear that you kind of had a shoulder injury before that, I mean, man, definitely kudos to you for sure, man.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, and so like with obviously CrossFit routines, they're extremely rigorous, and as far as competitions are concerned, they're even more so because there's very little rest. So I really wanted to speak with you a little bit today about how do you recover, in order to really be fully ready for the next event or the next WOD.
Yeah, so that's a great question. So last year, I guess it was last year about this time, it was the last workout of the CrossFit Open, and I had a really bad open workout, and I couldn't understand why. I was well prepared. The movements were good for me. Everything was in order, and I just realized at that point in time, or after doing some research, that probably the most important thing that I wasn't taking care of was actually my hydration. And so halfway through the workout, I actually got disoriented, and I didn't understand why. I couldn't keep count. I had to ask my judge what round I was on. I just had no idea where I was. So after doing some research, I found you guys. Actually, I made a call out to Noah at that point in time, and I was like, I need as much of whatever you got as soon as possible. So that's kind of how that whole thing started. As far as recovery and competitions and CrossFit or MMA or any sport for that matter, the hydration part is extremely important. I add in some other things, some other components into my daily routine of supplements, but on a daily basis, I'm keeping an eye on my hydration. It's something I do every day. It's almost like a cup of coffee for me.
Awesome, man. Well, it's great to hear that the product is definitely benefiting you. And so, what does that look like? You said that you use it on a daily basis. What does that look like as far as the products replay and pre-play? How do you use those products daily?
Yeah, so that's a great question as well. So I stay with mostly the replay, and I consume that typically about an hour before I work out, and that's something that I do, and it's normally about an hour. I sip on it at about an hour while I'm warming up, and because I'm old, it takes me about an hour to warm up, anyways.
Nice, man.
Early on, I would notice people in my class that typically would say, "Hey," they would ask me what the workout was, what we were doing for the day, the workout of the day, right? And I would explain it to them. Or we'd even go through it, right? And then three-quarters of the way through the workout, they have no idea what the workout is, what the rep scheme is. They're completely lost, right? And I always really thought maybe that they were like they weren't listening to me, or they weren't paying attention to me, whatever the case may be. And it wasn't until I started doing the research about cognitive skills and the way it relates to hydration, right? And the way that actually has that same kind of blood alcohol effect on people. And then once I started putting replay and pre-play in their hands, that's when I saw a huge performance improvement. And we're talking about just everyday mom and 35-year-old men, women that come into the gym after working all day long. So I am a huge proponent of putting either replay or pre-play in their hands as soon as possible.
Cool. Thank you for sharing, kind of how you incorporate the product into your daily routine. And so I have to ask, man, being, one of the best in the world, I mean, what motivates you to work so hard to push yourself past, the limits?
Well, I think I've always had the desire at some, like, it doesn't matter what sport, right? Whether it was hockey or Muay Thai or now CrossFit. I've always had the desire to be I always want to be the best. It's just not something that I'm not happy with a good performance. I want the best performance all the time. So that motivates me on a daily basis, is just trying to be the best. But as I've matured, I guess, and things are a little different these days. I've got a parent, my dad has got dementia. And so he was always someone that I spent a lot of time with and came to all of my sporting events, all of my college hockey games. And we've been thick as thieves since as long as I can remember. So he's on his, he's been pretty sick, and he remembers me some days, he doesn't others. So now what motivates me more than anything else in the world is probably just to put him in the front row at the CrossFit Games and give him one more opportunity to enjoy a sporting event that I'm competing in. He used to be at every game sitting in the front row in college. We'd have, I don't know how many thousand people at the game, and I could always see his face, and I think that's what motivates me the most now as I dig down deep and just want to give him one more shot at that.
Wow, man. Man, well, Pete, thank you so much for sharing that, man, and I definitely wish you the best in that for sure. I think that's one of the things that I really appreciate about you, as an athlete and just as a person in general. I mean, you're definitely a huge inspiration to all of us guys who, want to be the best at what we do. So thank you so much, man, for what you do and for sharing that for sure. So I have one last question for you, man. I really appreciate you taking the time for this brief interview today, but I wanted to kind of wrap up with an off-the-wall question. So what's your favorite benchmark workout and why?
Okay, I kind of knew this one was coming, huh? So for the longest time, it's been DT, and I don't know why, because I'm not the greatest at that workout at all. I just like moving a barbell and moving it with some speed. So it's got some deadlifts and some hang power cleans and some overhead stuff. So I really, really like that workout. But I really can't say that that's that's probably my favorite hero workout, but there's a lot of assault bike workouts that I really like lately. So I don't know. I'm torn between the hard cardio and the hard barbell, but you put something hard and heavy in my hands and I'm pretty happy.
Awesome, man. Cool. Well, Pete, again, thank you so much for your time. And best of luck to you. I know that all of us, will definitely be watching you in the future and really excited to see, where you progress in the sport. So thank you so much, Pete. Really appreciate your time, man.
No, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.